Welcome back, everyone, to the Deep Dive. Now, today we're going to be exploring a topic that's pretty hot right now,
Yeah.
prompt engineering. So we're talking about how to craft effective inputs for those AI models everyone's talking about,
Right.
especially Anthropic's Claude. Now, imagine it's like giving instructions
Yeah.
to a super smart
Right.
but literal-minded assistant.
Okay.
And, we've got a whole stack of your research right here.
Lots to dig into.
Oh, yeah. Our mission today is to figure out how you can use prompt engineering to just get amazing results from AI.
Right.
Especially, because we know our listeners are all about efficiency and those quick results.
Absolutely. Efficiency is key.
So,
And you know what's really fascinating here is that this whole prompt engineering thing,
yeah.
it's like a completely different approach
Okay.
compared to fine-tuning, which can be such a resource hog and so time-consuming. With prompting, you're basically taking the knowledge that's already there
Right.
in these powerful AI models and guiding it towards specific outcomes.
So, okay, but before we jump into the how-to, like the nuts and bolts,
Sure.
I'm curious about like the prep work.
Okay.
What needs to happen before someone even starts writing a prompt?
That's a great question. And the source material from Anthropic, it really emphasizes that just like any project,
Yeah.
you need a plan. Having well-defined success criteria, that's crucial. Like, what specific outcome
Right.
are you aiming for? How are you going to know you're successful? How can you test
Right.
and iterate on your prompts
Okay.
to get closer to those goals?
So it's not just about typing something in and like hoping for the best.
No.
It's more strategic.
Much more strategic.
Okay.
It's like having a roadmap, right?
Gotcha.
And, even having a draft prompt ready can be a great starting point,
Okay.
even if it's not perfect, Think of it like sketching out a rough outline before you write a whole article.
I like that. Okay, so one thing that really stood out to me in the research was how prompt engineering kind of stacks up against fine-tuning. Okay.
You mentioned efficiency, but what other advantages are there,
Right.
especially for someone who wants to get up and running quickly?
Well, one of the biggest advantages is that prompt engineering doesn't need the same level of computational resources as fine-tuning.
Ah, okay.
You don't need crazy powerful hardware
Gotcha.
or super expensive cloud services, which makes it much more accessible.
Right. And as you mentioned, speed is a huge factor.
Oh, absolutely. With prompting, you get almost instant feedback.
Wow.
So you can just iterate and experiment so much faster.
So if I'm understanding this right, it's like the difference between trying to build a custom engine from scratch
Okay, yeah.
versus like fine-tuning an already powerful one.
That is a fantastic analogy. And because you're not retraining the entire model,
Yeah.
you totally avoid the risk of catastrophic forgetting,
What's that?
which can happen during fine-tuning.
Interesting.
The AI keeps all its general knowledge,
Right.
but it adapts to new tasks
Okay.
through your prompts. I see. So it keeps its smarts while still learning new tricks.
Exactly.
Okay, good. That's reassuring. And from what I've read, prompt engineering also offers this like higher level of transparency
Yes.
compared to some of the other methods out there.
Absolutely. You can literally see the instructions
Right.
that you're giving to the AI.
Uh-huh.
And that makes it so much easier to understand how it arrived at a particular output,
Right.
which is crucial for debugging or refining those prompts.
Yeah.
You're basically collaborating with the AI
So-
in this super transparent way.
That makes a lot of sense. It takes some of the mystery out of it.
Exactly.
It gives you more control.
For sure.
Okay, so now that we've kind of laid the groundwork here,
Right.
let's get into the how-to a bit.
Okay, yeah.
What are some of those key prompt engineering techniques
Right.
that someone could start using right away?
Well, Anthropic actually lays out this really helpful framework. And I think it's brilliant how they've organized these techniques from the broadest to the most specific.
Okay.
So it's like building a solid foundation.
I got that.
Starting with the basics, they even have a prompt generator tool
Oh, wow.
to help people get started.
Oh, I love that, especially for beginners who might be a little intimidated.
Exactly. Everyone starts somewhere.
Yeah, for sure.
Right.
Now, are there any like golden rules to keep in mind when you're crafting prompts, like regardless of the specific technique?
I think clarity and directness are super important.
Okay.
Avoiding ambiguity
Right.
and using precise language to really guide the AI toward the desired outcome.
Gotcha.
It's like giving someone directions.
Yeah.
The more specific
Yeah.
and unambiguous you are, the better the results.
Right. So no beating around the bush.
No beating around the bush.
But, humans, we often learn best by example.
We do.
Does that apply to AI as well?
Absolutely. One of the most powerful techniques is multi-shot prompting, where you give the AI multiple examples of what you want.
Oh, interesting.
It's like giving a student sample problems and solutions to illustrate a concept,
So instead of just saying, write a poem,
Yeah.
you might provide a few different poems as examples.
Right, exactly, to set the tone and style.
Okay. What about situations where the task is a bit more complex
Okay.
and requires, a deeper level of reasoning from the AI?
Well, in those cases, there's a technique called chain of thought prompting, which can be super effective.
Interesting.
You're essentially encouraging the AI to kind of explain its reasoning step by step.
So, like, show its work.
Exactly.
Okay.
Just like you might break down a complex problem into smaller, more manageable chunks.
So instead of just getting that final answer, you get to see the AI's thought process.
Exactly. Which can be so insightful.
Oh, that's fascinating. Now, I'll admit, I get a little lost in the weeds when things get too complex.
I hear you.
Are there ways to add structure and organization to prompts?
Right.
Especially when you're dealing with a lot of information.
Well, one technique that can help with that is using XML tags.
Okay.
Now, I know it might sound a bit technical, but XML tags basically act as formatting hints, helping the AI to understand the structure and hierarchy of that information.
So it's kind of like using headings and bullet points.
Yeah, it's a similar idea.
To organize a document, to make it easier to read.
For sure.
Gotcha, okay. So XML tags provide that structure for the AI, making sure it focuses on the right elements.
Exactly.
That's really helpful. Sometimes, though, it's not just about the information itself. It's about how the AI interprets it and how it responds, Is there a way to influence the AI's personality or style, so to speak?
I love that question. That's where system prompts come in.
Okay.
This technique is all about setting the context and expectations for the AI's behavior. You can give it a specific role, like a helpful librarian or a creative storyteller, and that will influence its tone and the style of its responses.
So it's like giving it a persona to embody.
Yes. It can be incredibly powerful.
So cool. I feel like we're just scratching the surface here.
We are, and these techniques are just the beginning.
Oh, wow.
There are even more advanced methods, like pre-filling Claude's response to guide the AI towards a specific format.
Gotcha.
Chaining complex prompts to break down big tasks. And long context tips for handling a ton of information.
Wow. I'm already starting to imagine all the amazing things you could do.
It's pretty incredible, right?
But before we dive deeper, I think it'd be helpful to kind of step back for a sec. Look at the bigger picture. What's the key takeaway from all of this? Especially for our listener who is all about learning these new skills quickly.
I think the biggest takeaway is that prompt engineering is this surprisingly accessible, a really powerful way to leverage the capabilities of this advanced AI. And for someone who values efficiency, and quick results, it offers a really compelling alternative to those more resource-intensive methods.
This is mind-blowing. It feels like a whole new world of possibilities.
It really is. And the best part is, it's just the beginning. There's so much more to explore and discover.
Oh, I can't wait.
In this world of prompt engineering.
Okay, so much more to come, but we're going to take a quick break.
Sounds good.
We'll be right back.
It's a game changer for sure. One of the things that really gets me excited about prompt engineering is just how broadly it can be applied. Like across so many different fields.
I have to admit, I'm already brainstorming ideas.
I bet.
Give me some real-world examples of how our listeners could actually use prompt engineering in their work or even their personal life.
All right, well, let's say you're a writer and you're facing that dreaded writer's block.
The worst.
Instead of staring at that blank page, you could give Claude a few snippets of your writing style. And ask it to generate some fresh ideas.
Interesting.
Or maybe help you craft the next chapter of your novel.
So it's like having a brainstorming partner.
Yeah.
That also happens to be like a language whiz.
Exactly. What about someone who works with a lot of data? Like a market researcher? Could prompt engineering help them make sense of all that information?
I would think so.
Absolutely. Imagine you're a marketer. Trying to understand customer feedback. You could feed Claude a bunch of customer reviews. Ask it to summarize those key themes and sentiments
Interesting.
giving you insights that would take hours to uncover manually.
That would save so much time and effort. Instead of getting lost in all those details, you'd have that clear, concise overview of what people are actually saying.
And, this could even have a huge impact on education.
Yeah, I was just thinking that. How do you see that playing out?
Well, teachers could use prompt engineering to create these really personalized learning experiences.
Oh, wow.
Tailored to each student's needs and learning style.
It's like having a virtual tutor.
It really is.
This is incredible. I can see this being so helpful for students who might be struggling with certain concepts.
Absolutely.
Or, even those who need a little extra challenge.
It's taking personalized learning to a whole new level.
It really is. And for researchers?
Well, don't even get me started. For researchers, this could accelerate scientific discovery.
Okay, how so?
Imagine being able to analyze massive data sets, generate hypotheses, or even design experiments with the help of AI.
Wow. Prompt engineering really does seem to open up these exciting possibilities.
It does. It lets us tackle those really complex problems.
The potential is pretty much endless, right?
It really is. It's like we've given our listener a whole new set of mental tools.
I love that. But with any new tool, there's going to be a learning curve, right?
Of course.
What resources would you recommend for someone who wants to start experimenting with prompt engineering?
Well, remember those interactive tutorials and GitHub resources we talked about earlier? Those are fantastic starting points.
I'll definitely have to check those out.
Yeah, they're great. Anthropic has done a great job providing those hands-on materials for all skill levels.
That's fantastic. So much to explore. It's so exciting.
It is.
All the possibilities.
And it's important to remember.
What's that?
That prompt engineering.
Yeah.
It's a constantly evolving field.
Right.
What we're seeing today is just the tip of the iceberg.
Wow.
New techniques and applications are popping up all the time.
That's what makes it so fascinating.
Absolutely. It's not static, it's dynamic.
Yeah.
It's like this constantly evolving art form. It's like being at the forefront of a technological revolution.
It really is. So now that our listeners have this foundational knowledge, I'm curious.
Okay.
What are your final thoughts on how they can really make this knowledge their own?
So, knowing what you now know about the power and flexibility of prompt engineering, what are some creative ways you could use this to solve problems or explore new ideas in your own work or even your personal life?
That is a fantastic question. Maybe our listeners could use it to brainstorm a new business idea.
Ooh, I like that.
Compose a song?
Yes.
Or even design a video game.
I'm sure they're already coming up with amazing ideas.
I bet they are. The only limit is your imagination.
It really is.
Right.
And the beauty of prompt engineering is that it empowers you to become an AI collaborator.
That's so cool.
Working alongside these powerful models to achieve incredible things.
So embrace that inner prompt engineer.
Yes.
And don't be afraid to experiment.
Absolutely not.
Who knows what you'll create?
It's a journey of discovery.
Yeah.
And the possibilities are truly endless.
It really does feel like we've only just scratched the surface with this.
Yeah, we have. And that's what's so cool about it. There's all this open space for creativity and innovation.
Thinking back to something you said earlier about AI collaboration, it seems like prompt engineering is all about finding that sweet spot between human ingenuity and AI capability.
It really is. Recognizing that we each have our strengths, right?
Yeah.
Humans, we're great at setting goals, giving context, and coming up with those initial sparks of creativity. AI, on the other hand, can just process information like crazy.
Right.
Generate new ideas.
Yeah.
Help us see patterns that we might totally miss.
So it's not about AI replacing us. It's more like it's augmenting us.
Exactly. It's a partnership.
Yeah.
And prompt engineering is the key to unlocking that potential.
And just like any good partnership, it takes time and effort to develop that understanding.
It does.
Fluency.
For sure. That's where those tutorials and GitHub resources come in handy.
Yeah.
They're a great way to get hands-on and experiment.
Right.
The more you practice, the more you develop that intuition for how to craft effective prompts.
And who knows, maybe one of our listeners will discover a hidden talent.
Oh, I love that.
A passion for working with AI.
Wouldn't that be amazing?
Right.
It's like we've opened this door to a whole new world, and now it's up to them to see where it leads.
So to kind of wrap things up here, what's the one piece of advice you would give to someone just starting their prompt engineering journey?
Don't be afraid to experiment.
Okay.
Try different approaches.
Yeah.
Play around with the language. See what works best for you.
Yeah.
There's no right way to do this. It's about finding what clicks.
Yeah. What resonates.
Exactly. What resonates for you and for the AI.
I love that. It's all about that process of discovery and having fun.
Absolutely.
Along the way.
Approach it with curiosity.
Yeah.
And that willingness to try new things.
Well, on that note, I think it's time for us to wrap up this deep dive.
It's been a pleasure diving in with you.
Likewise. And to all our listeners out there, we hope this deep dive has sparked your curiosity.
Right.
And given you a solid foundation in prompt engineering.
It's a powerful tool.
Remember the power of AI? It's at your fingertips.
Use it wisely.
Now go out there and create something amazing.
We can't wait to see what you come up with.